This is section 1.5, transformations of functions. In this section, we are going to investigate how the graph of a function, just a general function, changes when we apply basic algebraic operations to x and y. So adding, subtracting some things, multiplying, that kind of stuff. We're not squaring or cubing anything. And we're going to be using the library of functions that we had from the end of the last section. Those are the graphs that we're going to be using and moving around. Okay, so just a few definitions first. The graph we get after we do those algebraic operations, that's the transformation of the original. And we're going to start off by talking about some what are called rigid transformations. These are ones where the thing moves around on the grid, but it doesn't change shape. Okay? So the first two main types are the vertical and horizontal shifts. Now, I have labeled all of these inside and outside, and at the end, I think you'll see why I've done that, how they're all grouped together, and how you can use that to help you remember which kind of a transformation is which. So the vertical and the horizontal shifts both involve either adding or subtracting something. Okay? The big difference between them is whether what you are adding or subtracting is outside of the function or if it is inside of the function. If it's outside the function, it's going to be a vertical shift. If it is inside the function, it's going to be a horizontal shift. Okay, so right here, we are adding D, and if you're adding D, you go D units, whatever that number is, up. So if you're adding, you go up. And if you are subtracting, you're going to go down by that same number of units. Vertical shifts make perfect sense. It's probably what you would hope it would be. Now, horizontal shifts, these seem backwards. If you notice right here, the way the definitions are written, the C value is positive, but then they give you a minus sign right here. If C is a positive number and we have a minus sign, then what we have is X minus a number. If you have X minus a number, you're going to the right. It seems backwards. And if you end up with a plus C, that would mean that your C is a negative number. And if your C is a negative number, then you're going to the left. So horizontal shifts are not what we would hope they would be, but they're still not that difficult. So vertical movement is outside of the function. Horizontal movement is inside of the function. Now, you're going to have some problems where they just ask you to tell how to graph it, and others where they ask you to actually to graph it. You're going to have some problems where they give you information. You're going to be asked to come up with the appropriate function for it. Let's just look at these first. If our original function is the absolute value of x, and then we're asked to do these, and all they're asking for us to do right now is to tell how we would be moving these. Well, I have the absolute value here, and it's exactly the same as this. So there have been no changes inside of the function. Everything here is outside. Since it is outside, it's going to be a vertical shift, and vertical seems correct. This is +1, so we're going to take this graph and shift it up 1. Here, it's not inside the absolute value, it is outside. We are subtracting, so here we're going to shift. Since it is outside, it is a vertical movement, it's negative, so we're going to go down. Not 1, 2. So we're going to take our original absolute value graph and we're going to move the whole thing down 2 units to get that second graph. Okay, let's do some more of these. If I have f of x is equal to 1 over x, and from this, we want to talk about how to get these graphs. And again, we have a plus and a minus in that are kind of added to, put onto, inside of our original. And I just said inside, and that means this is a horizontal shift. Because the changes are inside of our original function. Horizontal shifts seem backwards. So since this is a +2, we're going to move left 2. Since this is -3, and it seems backwards, horizontal does, so we're going to go right 3. Okay, so now let's look at some where we have combinations of things. This is going to happen a whole lot. As we get more transformations, we're going to talk more about the order in which you need to do these two things. But for right now, shifting up, down, left, right, it doesn't matter which one we list first. If our original function is the square root of x, here we have both changes inside and outside. So we have horizontal and vertical shifts going on. Here, the 1 is inside the root, so that is a horizontal shift, and we are going left 1. And then we have a -2 over here on the outside, so this is going down 2. And we have h of x is square root of x minus 1 plus 3. Here the -1 is inside, so it is horizontal, and this time we're going right 1. And then we have plus 3 on the outside, so we're going up 3.